If you're sinking in debt and your bank account is empty, you probably have wondered, how am I ever gonna get out of this debt if I don't have any money? In this video, I'm gonna give you the 5 ways that you can crush debt with no money and then ultimately fix the issue of an empty bank account so you not only are out of debt, but you have the money to fulfill your true passions in life. Let's go. The very first thing that everybody should do, and by the way, this is not just if you're in debt, this is every single person in the world, you should have some sort of budget so you know where your money's going and where it should be going. If you want to spend money on certain things, like let's say there's some missions you want to support, you need a budget. But let's say you have a lot of debt and you don't have enough money coming in to pay for that debt. Then you need a budget. It doesn't matter what side of the fence you're on or where you're at, we need to have a budget because under structure, things thrive. And we even see this with children. Children often in structures that support them and encourage them and give them guidelines to win inside of, they often thrive more. Now that doesn't mean we box them in and don't allow their creativity to grow. The truth is, kids thrive under structure. So do finances. So do most people, let's be honest. But finances thrive under structure. We have to have a structure in order to reach our goals. And all a budget is a structure. That's all it is. It just is telling us where our money's going and where it should be going. And it doesn't matter if you make a little money or a lot of money, you need a budget. You need a budget so that we can see where the money's flowing every month, so that we can be the driver. Too many people are in the financial position they're in by default, not by design. And I want to help you design a financial future, not just be a default because you watched your parents spend this way, therefore you spend this way, therefore most likely your kids will spend this way. My goal is to help you design the kind of financial future even if you have no money. Now we definitely need to fix that issue and make sure that our income is going up, but I want to make sure that we can fix the issue of the debt and eliminate it quickly, even if we're on a tight budget. Because a budget tells us you can't hit a target you don't have. If you don't have a target, we don't even know what we're aiming at. So we have to have a budget, know what our debt is, know what our income is, so that we can actually move forward in the process. If you and I were together and I handed you a ball and I said, throw it anywhere you want to. You threw it. And I said, did you hit your target? And you'd say, I didn't have a target. You didn't tell me to throw it at anything. You just said throw it. And I would say, exactly. That's what a budget does. See, if you step into a financial situation and you have no goal and you have no target, you're never going to hit it. What a budget does is it clearly articulates and places into vision and in our view a target that we're aiming at so that we can continue to make every decision based on what? Our goals inside of our budget. The first thing you need to know is how much money does it take to pay all your expenses every month? Your rent, your car payment, food, gas, all of the expenses we have in a month, we have to know what that actually is. The budget will help you articulate where your money is going. And we need to know that if we're ever going to get out of debt and really be free. The second tip is you want to evaluate and see, are you making too little or spending too much? Now, it definitely can be both, but it's usually one or the other predominantly. And so you need to see if your income is just too low, we need to see, is there a place where you can work? Can you take your same skill set and transfer it to another job where your income can increase? Can you add a side hustle and start doing some things on nights and weekends in order to get that number up? Because we often talk about saving and redirecting money, but one of the things that speeds you up even faster is increasing your income. Because once we cut and add, then we can go after that debt number faster. So we want to evaluate. Are we spending too much? Are we making too little? Many people are trying to fix an earning problem with a management solution. So you may be earning too little and you're trying to manage it. Now, if you are earning too little, you definitely need to manage it well. But as Robert Kiyosaki taught us years ago in the book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you cannot save your way to wealth. Saving will only get you so far without increased earning. And what I want you to do is not just focus on cutting, but also focus on income increasing. So if you ask me, Mike, how do I get out of debt with no money? I will say, why do we have no money? You'll say, well, because my bills take up all my money every month. So I'm going to go after 2 directions. Let's look at your spending, but let's also look even harder and more strategically at your earning and see what skills and skill sets do you have that we can market to places where you can increase your income. This is also a good reminder in getting out of debt is not the goal. Creating financial freedom and wealth so that we can fulfill our mission is the goal. Debt is just an obstacle. So when you're chasing after a debt number to get out of debt, you're not chasing after a debt number. You're chasing through a debt number. There's a big difference. I'm not trying to just get out of debt. My goal is not to work hard just to be broke. That's not my goal. My goal is to work and chase through that number so that I can get to the freedom that's on the other side. And by the way, the same spending patterns and same work that got me out of debt, I'm gonna do that afterwards to continue to build up a little bit of savings and actually build up some financial freedom. But the truth is, remember, getting out of debt's not the goal. Financial freedom and building wealth and generational wealth that'll impact people for years to come is the real goal. Before we go on to our next 3 tips, make sure you add yourself to the family by hitting that subscribe button and join a movement of people headed towards financial freedom and real estate investing. We would love to add you to our family and create a greater force of people that are trying to get out of debt and create real freedom. Also, make sure you smash that thumbs up button and hit the bell notification so you get notified every single day when we do a video. The third tip is to stop the bleeding. Let's not spend money on things we don't need or don't want. Do you know there's a lot of people out there when they start looking through their finances, they're like, we spend money on that and we don't even use it. We have Netflix and we watched one thing last month? Well, then it's probably not worth it to you. It's probably not very valuable. So now we just want to stop the bleeding. Let's not keep adding to the problem by making sure we're cutting all of the things we don't need to be spending money on. You can only cut your spending down to your expenses. Whatever it costs you to live with food and gas and clothes and what you need, then that's as far as you can go. But at that point is when we try to increase our earning. But we really have to stop the bleeding. We have to stop spending money on things we don't use and don't want. And we have to stop spending money on things that we could cut. We might like them and use them, but we don't necessarily need them right now. A golf membership may not be a need right now, and we could cut that and redirect our money into debt to get out of that so that golf is one of the things that I can do that I love. But remember, we're chasing through that debt to get to freedom. And to do that, we got to stop the bleeding so we're not adding to the problem. The fourth thing is to track all of your spending. What do you spend a month on food, gas, your car payments, all of your clothes? You know what I've realized when I ask people this? Most people don't know how much money they spend eating out, or how much money they spend just grabbing snacks at the gas station, or how much money they spend on their food budget a month. Most people just don't know. If there's one thing I've learned in business, is when you don't know your numbers, you're headed for failure. And that's also true in personal finances. If you don't know your numbers, you're headed for failure. If you don't know where your money's going or know how much money you have coming in, you're really gonna struggle to get to that next level. The fifth thing you need to do is to treat your debt like an enemy. I want you to pursue it with relentless passion. We will never crush our debt treating it like a pet. The truth of the matter is we have to run after it, run through it, get it out of our way. It's just one obstacle. The goal, again, not to get out of debt, to run through it, but that will not happen without pursuit, relentless pursuit to get out of debt so that we can free ourselves from those chains. And leading from that, there's one more thing you really need to do, and every single person needs to do this, I needed to do this, is get a coach on money. And I know when you don't have a lot of money, paying for a coach is really tough. So make sure, like you're watching these videos, they can be digital coaches that you're not paying. Make sure you're consistently consuming content so that you are actually going to get out of debt and reach your goals. I can tell you this, having coaches in my life, whether I was paying them or not, made all the difference. Every time I have an issue in my life, it could be an issue in my marriage, an issue in my personal life, my health, my business, the first thing I say is, who knows how to do this better than I do? I'll bet you know somebody in your life that is financially free. You know somebody who has their finances handled. They've really done well handling their money. Ask them for a little bit of advice. How did you do it? How can I do it? I don't want to be in this position anymore. I want to get out of debt and live financially free. How did you do it? Get a mentor that can help lead you along the way. I also want to give you a free gift today. I have a free 60-minute training on how to bust into the multifamily real estate market. Now you might be saying, what does getting out of debt have to do with multifamily real estate? That's actually how I got out of debt, was by investing in real estate where I've had to put no money into the deal and I could have consistent cash flow coming in every month to help pay my debt. In fact, when I had student loans from college, my payment was $500 a month. I went and looked for a property in my area and found a little 3-unit building that paid my school debt every single month. So then I didn't have to do it. This is why I created this free training. Click on the link in the description and you'll be taken to a 60-minute free masterclass on how to bust into the multifamily real estate market.